and this is a piece that was found in Turkey near the city of Diyarbakir.
For centuries, a quiet tension has existed between belief and doubt. On one side, ancient scripture, rich with kings, wars, and divine encounters. On the other, skepticism, demanding proof, demanding evidence, demanding something that can be touched, measured, and verified. And for a long time, the ground remained silent. No inscription, no independent witness, no external confirmation, just the claim and the doubt. But history has a way of refusing permanent silence. Beneath layers of earth, buried under forgotten ruins, something was waiting. Not a myth, not a story, but a declaration, etched with purpose, preserved by time, and completely indifferent to modern debates. A stone from 853 BC. And what it reveals doesn't gently suggest, it confronts. Before we uncover it, take a moment to subscribe to the channel. These deep explorations into ancient discoveries and biblical history are only possible with your support. And what you're about to hear is something most people have never fully understood. Now, let's go deeper. In the 9th century BC, power in the ancient Near East was not subtle. It was overwhelming. Kingdoms rose and fell in cycles of war, alliances, and conquest. At the center of this storm stood Shalmaneser III, ruler of the expanding Assyrian Empire. He was not content with ruling, he wanted to be remembered. And so, like many Assyrian kings, he recorded his campaigns in stone. Not casually, not briefly, but in detailed inscriptions, etched into monuments meant to outlive generations. Among these records are the Kurkh monoliths, massive slabs covered in cuneiform writing. At first glance, they seem like many other ancient records, lists of victories, territories, and defeated enemies. But within these lines, something unexpected appears. One of the most detailed sections of the monoliths describes the Battle of Kurkh. This was not a small confrontation. It was a coalition, a rare alliance of multiple kings who united to resist Assyria's advance. Shalmaneser III describes the battle with precision. He lists the rulers who opposed him, the forces they brought, and the scale of the conflict. And then, in the middle of this ancient record, comes a line that would echo far beyond its time. A name appears, a king, from Israel. Carved into the stone, preserved across centuries, is a statement that reads, 2,000 chariots, 10,000 soldiers of Ahab the Israelite. This is not a later addition. It is not a reinterpretation. It is a direct translation from the Akkadian inscription itself. And in that single line, something profound happens. Ahab, a figure known primarily from the Bible, suddenly stands within the confirmed record of ancient Near Eastern history. Not as a legend, not as a distant memory, but as a king who marched to war. For generations, debates surrounded figures like Ahab. Were they historical? Were their stories exaggerated? Did Israel truly play a role in major regional conflicts? The Bible presents Ahab as a powerful, complex ruler. In 1 Kings chapter 20, verse 1, we read of multiple kings gathering for war, a landscape of alliances and shifting power. Ben-Hadad, the king of Syria, gathered all his army together, and there were 32 kings with him. This is not the picture of an isolated kingdom. It is a world of coalitions, exactly what the Kurkh monolith describes. And now, for the first time, an external source confirms it. This is where biblical archaeology becomes so powerful. It does not rely on a single voice. It listens for convergence. And here, the convergence is unmistakable. The detail that often goes unnoticed is not just the name, it is the number. 2,000 chariots. In the ancient world, chariots were not ordinary military units. They were elite, expensive, technologically advanced. To field such a number required organization, wealth, and infrastructure. This challenges a long-standing assumption that Israel during this period was too small or weak to hold such power. Instead, the inscription suggests something far greater. Israel under Ahab was strong enough to stand alongside major kingdoms in a united front against Assyria, not surviving, but competing. There is something uniquely powerful about this evidence. It does not come from Israel. It does not come from a sympathetic source. It comes from Assyria, an empire that sought domination, not validation. Ancient kings often exaggerated their victories, but they rarely invented their enemies. The list of opposing kings had to reflect reality, because it demonstrated the scale of the challenge. And so, when Shalmaneser III records Ahab and assigns him such a significant military force, it becomes more than a mention. It becomes confirmation, an unintended witness. For years, skepticism persisted, not out of malice but out of absence. Without external evidence, it was easy to question. But history is not static. It reveals itself in fragments, in discoveries, in moments where the past refuses to remain hidden. The Kurkh monoliths are one of those moments. They do not argue, they do not defend, they simply present. And in presenting, they challenge. As it is written in Luke chapter 19, verse 40, "I tell you, if these should hold their peace, the stones would immediately cry out." Here, the stones have done exactly that. After its discovery in the 19th century near the ancient site of Kurkh, these monoliths were carefully preserved and studied. Today, one of the Kurkh monoliths stands in the British Museum. Far removed from the battlefield it once described, it now rests in quiet halls, surrounded by artifacts from civilizations long gone. Yet, its message has not faded. Visitors may walk past it without realizing that within its inscriptions lies one of the earliest external references to a king of Israel. But for those who understand its significance, it is not just an artifact. It is a bridge between scripture and history, between skepticism and evidence. The story of the Kurkh monoliths is not just about an ancient king or a forgotten battle. It is about how truth can endure, carved into something as simple and as powerful as stone. Ahab was once questioned, debated, even doubted. But now, his name stands not only in scripture, but in the record of an empire that opposed him. A silent confirmation, a carved acknowledgement, and a reminder that history, when uncovered, does not always whisper. Sometimes, it speaks with absolute clarity, because in the end, the most powerful evidence does not shout. It endures.